Pisces, Aries, to your December mid-month reading. Hope your friends are doing great out there. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. It's almost Christmas time. Let's see what's going on. Hope you guys are having a splendid holiday season. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on with the beautiful Pisces, Aries. Please, special messages coming out. You know, I see the moon at the bottom of the deck over here, and I just feel like a lot of what's going on right now is influenced from that new moon that we just had on the 19th. I did not do that reading, guys. I was busy. It's 'tis the season. You know, I can't do everything that I wish I could do. But I do feel like the new moon had something to do with the situation. So I do feel like the new moon is going to impact a lot of this reading. Well, you'll get 2 in 1. You'll actually be able to get your new moon reading as well. Interesting. So far, you're the only one. So we will see how that's going to play out here. But I do see that there was a challenge that's going on within the situation. You're kind of defending yourself and maintaining that control. There's a lot of focus on the growth of your relationship that's going on right now. There does feel like there's some practical tips that could be coming through, and then you're kind of harnessing this energy around you when it comes to how you're going to deal with this person during this time, whether it's a love, a family member, whoever it is. It could be, you know, whichever. Whether it's lover or platonic, it doesn't matter. But it does feel like whatever it is, there's a challenge going on. We do see here that the new moon over here is taking on this, like I said, is impacting this reading and impacting this time of the year for you. It's giving you this overall sudden awareness of what's going on within the situation. And I think that this is what's encouraging you too, to confront a lot of the emotions that are going on around you when it comes to this person. You might even feel like there's a stir of impulsive energy as well. But I do feel like you're being very mindful of how you're going to kind of explore this area of how you should speak to this person due to the commitments of how things are going, because it does feel like this person's also very over emotional. You could be dealing with a water sign who is just Pisces. It could be another water sign like yourself, and it could be another Pisces who is having this emotional distress. But it does look like if there was some breadcrumbing going on, that there has been this turnaround in which is saying, I want to be able to give back to this situation and be a little more generous. I do feel like you were holding back from them because I feel like they had withdrawn from this situation. But this inner awareness was like, this is where I need to be and I need to balance this out. I mean, shit, it's Christmas, right? So it does feel like I'm trying to take the passionate action and trying to take new steps to take myself from this place of withdrawal and put myself back into this place of limelighting. But like I said, it's the new moon that's doing this. The new moon said, let's look deep at this new inner energy. And I just feel like you're going to have a lot more individuality, but I think you're also going to look at the way you've suppressed energy towards this person is now going to change. But I think it's also because they're coming back around and they're actually I don't know. I just feel like they're a little more giving. I think they were breadcrumbing a lot of the situation. I think that they had lost their way. I feel like they had also pulled themselves away from the situation. No matter what, it's still a challenge for you. That's why you have the 7 of Wands, is because it's still a challenge for you to push yourself back into this area of finding that overall commitment to them, guys. I think there was a lot of hurt. I think there was a lot of pain. I think there was a lot of breadcrumbing. Like I said, it doesn't matter what the partnership was. It doesn't matter if it was a family member who's done this. It doesn't matter if it was a friend, a lover. It doesn't matter. It just feels like you're pushing yourself back out into that situation to say, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to heal. I'm going to forgive, and I'm just going to push myself back out. You know, for a lot of you, I really do feel this is more family. I think this is a family issue. I think this is something that, you know, my sister has done this to me. She's made me, I'm just going to be honest. I think that whoever this person was, they try to make you hate them. And I think that because the hurt was so bad. Now, hate's a heavy word, okay, but I'm going to use it because I think for some of you, you really do realize they did make you hate them. I fucking hate you. I just keep hearing that. I fucking hated you. I hated you. But I'm trying to find the compassion. I'm trying to let it go. I'm trying to find that absolution within the situation. I think for some of you, you're also coming around because the messages that I'm getting, remember, if these messages don't resonate with you, throw them away. You have your own messages. Someone had died, and this caused you to want to come back around. Grandma died. Something happened. Something happened, and you had this inner calling to say, you know what, family first. We're going to have to figure this out. And I think for some of you, I do feel like somebody had died or removed themselves enough to make them feel like they had died, right? By removing themselves away from the family. So whether it was a literal death or just the absence of completely 100% removing themselves from the family has brought you to this understanding. But it was all because of the new moon, this new understanding that impacted the way that you're seeing things. Yes. Your higher self coming back and saying, you know what, it doesn't matter what the burdens and responsibilities are. This is my sister. This is my brother. This is my love. This is who this person is. And it's like shaping and impacting you in a different way. And it has a major impact on you. And it has a major impact on your personal emotions and the way that you're wanting to come back together with this person. Mm-hmm. The struggle to balance out the situation by having a head over heart conversation. Look, it was a hard conversation that's going to have to be made. You know it's a hard conversation that's going to be made, but you're going to do it because it's also going to feel like your own personal freedom of freeing yourself from this trapped place within yourself. That if we don't have this conversation, then we're never going to, it might never be resolved. So it's definitely taking yourself into a new direction of balancing out this situation, wanting to have this conversation, getting rid of this toxic situation. Some of them may have to go to rehab. Maybe some know that they have to go to rehab. Maybe somebody just got out of rehab. Maybe somebody had just got out of doing drugs and they pushed you away from the situation because they're addicts and you just can't handle being around this person when they're all doped up. So whatever the situation is, it looks like whatever it is that they're coming back around, they need to now have this personal resolution. Not holding a grudge maybe against them anymore because now that they went to rehab and they got clean and they're all steady and, we can just try to heal this situation now. So there's definitely a lot of personal growth and a lot of healing going on when it comes to this situation. And maybe it's them wanting to do so with you. Okay, so sometimes we say cross-watcher, it's Pisces, Aries. You know what? I had to come through. And, I had to have this. There was this sneakiness, this bullying, this theft that went on within the situation. They abused our relationship. They misused and misguided me and hurt me and did all these horrible things. And then they tried to escape having a real deep situation. But I think that in the end, they just made you end up pulling away more than anybody. Because it just was nothing more that you could do. They wouldn't listen. But now they're coming toward you and they're saying, let's get this through. There's a lot of alcohol and a lot of addiction. Look at that. Like I said, whether it's you or them, somebody's getting clean. And I just feel like this is going to clean up this area within your life. You're going to get real. You're going to get, this is what's real. This is reality. We need to avoid this escapist energy. We have to, come back together with tenderness and connection and really work on this if we want to have this settled. If you can't, then we won't. But they're going to listen. And how do they feel about this situation? Look, they're coming towards you. Clarifying how they feel about this situation. Well, obviously, they want to. They also feel a little surprised about the situation because they've just felt like they kept it under the rug, kept it a secret, they kept it to themselves. They didn't want to have this exposed. They didn't want to expose the secret. Expose the way they feel. It was emotions exposed, but now they're going to expose this emotion. Yeah, it's exposing emotions. But now they feel like now that they have the recovery that they need, now that they have this recovery from this drinking, from this drugs, from this energy, let's just say, because if it's not none of those other things, that's fine. Just having the recovery thereof, right? Now they're rethinking the approach, and now they feel like they can open up to the situation where they didn't feel like they could before. They're reevaluating the connection. They definitely want to have this conversation, even though they still feel moody. They still feel that like they're in their inner emotions and inner feelings, but that's because they're feeling exposed, because you're going to expose them. But they have to come out. And like I said, guys, if it's you, just remember, right? Everything's going to be okay. Everything's coming out the way it needs to come out. There's so much love here. There's so much, but there was so much content. There was so much anger. Like I said, there was this place where I hated you. But then you have to ask yourself, when you really look down into the situation, my friends, did you really hate them or just hate what they had become? Hating the drug, hating the actions, hating the energy. Because if you really truly just hated them, then you wouldn't open up to want to bring them back into your life, right? So we have to, but you feel that, right? I hated it, make them understand that. Make them understand it wasn't you that I hated. It was the choices that you're making. It's the energy that you're spouting, the person you've become, never you, right? Because that will help them open up more. That'll make them not want to fight against having this conversation or feeling, of course they're going to have some guilt. They should have guilt. There's still going to be some guilt. There is consequences that have to be resolved, but consequences that have to be looked at, of course. But the overall, it's saying that there's victory to the situation and that the love can, stand strong within this situation. There is going to be some kind of collaborative harmony that's coming back around, but they just need you. I just pray that they can, that once you assert your needs for this situation and for this personal growth between the two of you, the personal growth for yourself, let's put it that way, and then the growth between the two of you with the Two of Cups. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right, but that's fine, because there is going to be both. And them as well. Yeah. But there's going to have to be an action that's taking place from them, that they're actually going to have to say, you know what, I did fuck up. Are they? I think they are, because I think they already know it. That's the only reason they're coming back together with you. That's the only reason that they're asserting themselves toward you. But they're making you take, absolutely, because there's going to be some kind of alignment. We don't want them to feel like they're being cornered. No, we want to make sure that there's total love within the situation so we can move on from this. But they're going to have to understand that there was, consequences to this situation, that the only reason you pulled away and that you did all of this was, because there was that hurt. No closure to the situation. That's why. It's like 'tis the season for a deep emotional renewal and bonds, coming back together. It's like this contract, because we can see the contract. Even within family members, my friends, we have contracts. It's like this contract could be smudged in its own way, renewed, smudged. It doesn't mean you have to, like the person again. It just means that we're bringing it out of that darkness into the light, fixing it. And maybe you're fixing it for grandma, you're fixing it for your mother. Maybe they're like, well, I'm not going to die and have you two hate each other. Okay, we'll fix this. No matter what, it feels like there is some kind of people pleasing tendency that's going along with it. Okay, guys, I do feel that. Okay, for some of you, you're taking those bold steps because you are trying to fix this because grandma is dying, because mom said so. Okay, so I do feel like there is this kind of people pleasing tendency for a lot of you. Okay, it's not just coming out of anything, or it's because you guys are getting older and family's dying and it's like, this is all we have. Right? We need to take those bold steps towards each other and have this rational renewal of love and, understanding. Especially as we get older, into our 40s, 50s, 60s. There's not many of us left. We have to have this understanding that, what? We need to have each other. Can we please work on this, right? Okay, guys, take that how it resonates. Everybody has a reason why they're doing what they're doing. Those are just some examples of what I'm seeing. And until then, peace and love. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.